game, a form of play or sport, especially a competitive one played according to rules and decided by skill, strength, or luck. Do any of you guys remember the first game you ever played as a person? Maybe it was tag and you remember the exhilarating rush of being chased and running for your life away from your friends as a little kid. Or maybe it was hide and seek and you were the one who was always singled out to be the person looking for people because you sucked at it. Or you were the one always winning because you were the one who would hide in the fridge every single time. I'm talking about you, Dan. My point is, we've all been exposed to games since a very young age, as is part of, a basic function of human life, turning anything into a form of fun to pass the time, or maybe, to get at our competitive side. But now that just makes me think, what was your first video game that you played? Maybe your first video game was Run on Cool Math Games while you were supposed to be doing schoolwork. You'd go on there secretly and hoping the teacher wouldn't walk by as you tried desperately to beat the 10th level of the game because you want to beat little Samantha because she keeps finding some sort of way to cheese the system. You just have to beat her. You just have to. Maybe if you're a little bit older, your first video game was Snake, a classic, yet still a thriller to this day. Maybe you had an older sibling who let you play on a more adult-style video game as a kid, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and they had you defending Burger Town at the ripe old age of 7 against the Russians. Regardless, as technology progresses along with the internet, more and more people are exposed to video games at a younger age, which leads to more and more people developing core memories with games like Call of Duty, Mario, Pokemon, and other such similar titles being a part of their childhood. For me personally, I would always go onto this website called y8.com, and I was always attracted to this game called Slope. The premise is really simple. You control a ball with the arrow keys, and it's one of those infinite run games where you just go until you die, and I was pretty addicted to that for a while. And, over the course of my life, the past decade or so, I've played a lot of games. I've played a lot of shooters, racing games, arcade, RPG, and I always find myself that I eventually, drop some games and I pick up whatever new one because my attention demands some sort of change, right? But for Slope, that hasn't been the case. I've been a Slope truther for many, many years at this point, and today I want to finally talk about why it's the greatest game of all time. Because Slope is such a simple game, there's not really a lot that you can complain about in terms of gameplay. Like, I know that in Call of Duty, sometimes people get mad with how the gunplay works or the time to kill, or maybe in other games they get frustrated with an overpowered specific character, like maybe in Smash Bros. But in Slope, you don't really have anything to complain about because this is all up to you. This is all up to your own personal skill. And that's why this game is so addictive. You can't really blame the computer on messing up a good run for you because you're the sole reason why anything that happens to you in this game happens to you. You are at fault for everything. I don't care if your computer lags. Do you see this game? This game looks like it was made in a day. Your computer will not be lagging or struggling to run this while you're playing unless you're literally just playing on a potato. Like, I don't want to hear any excuses for lag spikes or anything. I don't want to hear you talking about how, the game messed me up because blah, blah, blah. No, you messed up. This game holds you accountable, and that's why it's good, because you have to count on yourself. You can't rely on a crutch, and you can't get mad at the game like you can at Call of Duty. Like, I should have killed that guy. Oh my God, I dumped so many bullets into him. You can't say that here. You know why? Because your reaction time wasn't good enough. And that's why you hit that block right there. Because you suck, and you need to get better. And here's another thing. This is literally the ultimate background, gameplay to put on while you're talking about something. Because even just looking at this game, you just want to play it. Like, you're drawn in by the bright colors. It just looks so fun and addictive. Like, you just want to see, oh my God, is he gonna, no way that he's gonna make that. Oh my God, and as the pace picks up, as you go faster and faster, it gets more intense. The stakes rise higher and higher. And that's another part of the appeal to the game. It gets competitive, but it's a fun competitive, where there's nothing super serious riding on the line, unless you're going on you're getting above the score of 200, which at that point, you probably need some help. But anyways, this game is a fun competitive, where you're not going to be throwing your controller at the screen. You're just going to get annoyed that you weren't good enough to go farther, harder, better, faster, stronger. Like, this game, it's just a game that you play to pass the time. It's not something that you're going to be sweating over, unless you're very dedicated. But this game, your eyes are drawn to it. And even if you're not the one playing it, when you watch it, you're going to be like, I want to play this. Case in point, I play this a lot during school. My friend told me that since I was sitting in the front of the room, everybody just started playing this game behind me. Like, I didn't even say what the name was. They would just all start playing. And I'll just start an entire wave of the classroom being taken over by this game. Another great thing is that you don't need any special equipment like a wheel or a fancy controller or a good graphics card or anything to play this game. You can literally play it on your phone if you have an Android platform. Like, this game is so accessible for people of all ages from anywhere in the world that you don't need a high-end PC or anything to have a good experience. You literally just need a simple, like, even a MacBook can run this. Like, this game is that simple to play. And you don't have to spend hours pouring into it. Like, of course, you could try and learn, how to... I mean, if you're trying to get better at the game, all you have to do is literally just play. That's all you have to do to learn how to maneuver properly. That's it. There's no complicated way of learning how to grind to get better weapons or abilities or anything. You just play. It's that simple. Because of the simplicity and the mass accessibility that this game has, it truly is just the everyday person's game. It's not like a game like for some racing simulators like Assetto Corsa, where you want to download as many mod packs as you can. You want to get a good Thrustmaster wheel with a gear shifter, pedals, an actual nice racing chair. It's not like Microsoft Flight Simulator, where you want to get a flight stick. It's not like any of that. This game is so simple and so pure and just... It's like a classic game where all you're doing is just testing your abilities in a simple way. And it just goes on forever, and yet that's what makes it so good. This game is so simple, and it forces you to be better. It forces you to be accountable for your mistakes and everything like that. This game, the most that you can argue for it to be annoying is that sometimes when your ball lands, it'll randomly jump up. But honestly, I like that because it breaks if you're in a monotonous stretch of the game, it breaks it up. It throws a wrench in things. And you know what? You should have been prepared for that. You were letting yourself fall into the trap of Highway Hypnosis Slope Edition. You were just focusing so hard that you weren't thinking. You weren't actively preparing. Okay, what if there's just a random block? What if my vision's melting together? There's just a random block right there. This game is always constantly throwing something at you different, and you always have to be prepared. This game picks up the pace, and then just like that, maybe the tolerance was too small. That's on you. It's always on you. That's what I really like about this game, because this game makes you realize your mistakes, and you have to improve and get better if you really want to get into the upper echelon of a player in this game. All you can do is practice, and you have to think about, why did I just hit that block right there? Well, that's because I was trying to cut it short and, minimize my maneuvering. Well, that's the problem. You are minimizing your maneuvering. There's a fine line between making short, sweet movements and going too far, and then you're dead. That's what I love about this game. It holds you accountable. And then it also relates to, well, damn, I'm thinking about, how do I get better at this game? Well, I have to play a certain way. Well, why am I not doing that with my life? You know what? Slope is beautiful for that. And that's why it's the best game of all time.